place that feels like home, well, I belong to nowhere.
Hello and welcome to the Friends and Music Podcast. I'm sitting here with my good friend Tyler. Tyler, thanks for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
All right, you ready? We're done? Call it a day?
All right,
Let's
that's
go home.
it.
Yep.
The end.
Yep.
Shortest
Bye.
podcast ever.
Bye, everybody. No, the last one was a little bit... Yeah, we've been at 15 seconds. The last one was 13 seconds, so you missed it. We can't set the record for the shortest podcast ever.
We missed it.
I want to give a little introduction to you. I am honored that I get to do this with my doppelganger. It's not every day that we get my twin on the show. You're a very extremely nice guy. You're a genuine person. You're a great concert buddy, travel buddy with that too, because we've traveled for a lot of the concerts we've been to. And then I want to say that you have the most contagious laugh I've ever heard. Every time you laugh, I want to laugh too. I love it, man. But thanks for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
So let's talk about when we met. We were in school. We had a class together. Do you remember that audio class that we took?
Yeah, 1 credit audio engineering.
Did you learn anything from that?
A little bit. I think it broke down the fear of diving into a brand new program. I still have not really learned any. I haven't done anything with audio recording really, but at least it gave me good exposure and broke the ice, I think.
Little introduction.
Didn't get in too deep, but
it was mostly how do you put audio with video? That was what I felt like the point of the class was. It was really quick, let's talk about audio. Okay, now how do you apply audio to video? That was that project that we did. You remember that?
Yeah, the little video game one. That's true. I guess I haven't thought about that.
So it at least for me, it wasn't what I thought I was signing up for. It was still cool. It was interesting. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it because I got to meet you from it. Which I remember finally talking to you, meeting you, was because you had a band shirt on.
Yeah.
We were pretty much dressed the same, looked the same, same haircut. We found out we had the same exact glasses on. Tell me about your side of meeting me. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think for what my memory says, it took a few weeks, but noticing oh man, this dude wears band shirts sometimes, and
yeah,
I think I'm so used to just defaulting, just keeping to myself. But eventually, it was I gotta say hello to this homie with a band shirt on, because good old Rexburg, weird place. When you see someone with a band shirt, it's more of a rarity.
Any band shirt, not just same genre, just any band shirt.
You like music?
Yeah. Guess what? Me too. Want to be friends? You
like non-religious music as well.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think is really funny about before I met you? I have a story that I guarantee it was you, and I think I've told you this. There's this girl I dated before meeting you, and she came to my apartment. She's like, all right, I'm going to go to class. She's like, I'll just meet you back here later. I was like, all right, cool. And she called me after class, and she's like, where are you? And I was like, what do you mean where am I? I'm still at my apartment. You told me you were going to meet me here. And she's like, I just ran up to some stranger, almost hugged him and kissed him. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, there's this guy. He was dressed the same as you. He had one of the same band shirts that you had on, same haircut, same glasses. She's like, I thought it was you. I almost hugged a stranger. And then I meet you 2 months later. I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure you're the guy that my girlfriend almost kissed. Too bad she didn't. That would have been a better story. That would have been how we met story, other than in class. So yeah, we had classes together. Well, just that one class. Then we ended up going to a concert. I think within that same...
I think it was still during the class.
Yeah.
It was Such Gold. Was it 4 Year Strong?
Yeah, that was a good one. Transit. Who else was the other one on that one? So that was our first concert together?
Yeah.
At the
Loading
Dock.
Uh-huh. That has since gone under. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I'm not that surprised that it's not open anymore, but
COVID took them out, I
think.
think.
Yeah, that sucks.
Somehow, they were keeping going, but...
Was Seaway the opener?
I don't remember.
There was 4.
There was 4.
Yeah, Transit, Such Gold, 4 Year Strong, and there was one more.
I don't remember.
I'm just too excited to get into music. I need to go back, and I think I might owe you an apology for when we had that class together. And when you've told the story of that guy that walked up to us. So you and I were working on that project together with that third guy. I don't even know what's his name. We'll just call him Russell. Good old Russell.
I forgot there was even a third
There
person.
was a third person in our group, dude. So we're sitting out there, like on like a bench in the hallway, and this guy walks up to us and he like stares at us. He goes, "You guys twins?" We like looked at each other. We're like, "Oh yeah, we do look a lot alike." Yeah, you're right. And I go, "No, I don't even know this guy."
I don't even know this guy.
Which, did that rub you the wrong way? That you feel bad that I say that?
No, it caught me off guard, but I thought it was pretty funny just knowing that this stranger doesn't know us and we were still getting to know each other.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, we knew each other, but I didn't even know your favorite color at the time. Like, how could you
Yeah.
say, like, I know you, right?
And so to just tell this guy, I don't even know this person, and he just like, well, you're sitting next to each other. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do now.
We're working on the same
This
computer.
is awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously we know each other somewhat, but his reaction of like, he looked at us, he didn't know what to say, so he just walked away. He went like 15 feet, stopped, turned back around and looked at us, and just shook his head in disappointment and disbelief, and then walked away. And then I laughed pretty hard. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, that's so funny to think back on.
Now I couldn't get away with that because, yeah, now I know you very well. So, yeah, we went to that concert together, which Danielle came with us, right?
I'm pretty
She drove
sure
with us.
Danielle.
Anybody else?
I feel like there may have been someone else, but I don't recall.
I just remember you like with your arms on your side, just in the pit, just getting pushed around, just letting whatever happens happens. Like you weren't pushing back, you're just like getting tossed around. It was so funny. Which that venue, like tiny,
Yeah, there's
tiny
no
venue.
space.
And when it says the loading dock, that's exactly what it is. It's a single loading dock for where semi backs in and unloads. So the stage is where the semi would normally unload its gear or product, whatever, right? So the sound was terrible. The size was just awkward, but like, what a good idea. Whoever DIY person made that into a venue, that's awesome.
Yeah, unused space. Works good for small bands. The most ridiculous I remember above that venue, there was one time I saw, it was 5-band touring bill,
Okay.
and they slapped 2 locals on to open.
With 5 bands,
Yeah.
you can't even get that many bands in that spot. How do they have people paying for tickets?
I don't even know, but one of the openers took too long, and then because it's boxed in with the 3 walls, the stage, the unloading and loading of gear takes some time.
Yeah.
And so the headlining band had, I think, like 20 minutes or something to
Oh, what a
play
bummer.
until the sound ordinance.
Yeah.
And they were the one I wanted to see the most, and I was like, this is so dumb.
Yeah, that stinks. I remember the show that we saw when Such Gold was up. There was, I think, like, we have to look back at the band's info, but the lead vocalist was playing guitar that night, and so he was trying to get his guitar set up, and I would assume like that was his first night playing guitar in a while, right? Like, couldn't get the sound right, wasn't plugged in, and so like we don't hear the sound guy right, but I'm sure he's just like, hurry up, like you guys have to start, like time, go 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 go. And I remember the guitarist like yelling back, like, give me a minute, dude, like hold on. And so the bass player was trying to stall, and he's like, yeah, so we're here in Salt Lake, and we went to that Mormon temple down the street. And in my mind, I was like, oh, here we go. Like, he's going to say something like off the wall, right? So he continues with the story. And he's like, so yeah, we were walking around, and he's like, I got a new grandma. Like, this sweet old lady was telling me about the church. He's like, I think I'm Mormon now. So I was like, oh, that's pretty funny, actually. Like, that was a good stall story in between the guy was getting his guitar set up and ready to go. But that was a fun show.
That was a fun show. I wish I could remember more details of little one-offs like that.
Yeah.
I only remember like small handfuls of things that I like stick to the whatever's stuck in my brain. But
Yeah.
there's a website, Concert Archives, that I've always meant to like go and backlog everything, but
I've never used
that's
that.
a lot of work.
I just have like a little Google Doc that I go onto my phone, and I try to remember after a show to put what band I saw with who, where at, which was kind of hard to go back from, like, I think I started doing it like 2016, something like that. So to try to remember who I saw previous to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. And then, who I went with, where it was. But at least back then, like, I used to get like a physical ticket. So if I can find those, or, as I go through stuff, I'm finding those, I'm adding shows. But, I have been to quite a few shows together.
Yeah.
We ran into each other the other day at one. That was funny. Of course you were going to be there, but I still thought you were out of town. Sorry for not reaching out.
My bad too.
Did you like that show?
Yeah, it was good. It's crazy how much Movements has blown up.
Yeah.
I didn't expect. I for some reason thought it was gonna be on the 900 cap room, not in the 2000 cap room. But
Yeah, we went to the complex, which if you haven't been there, when you walk in the doors, there's a smaller space to the right and then the bigger room to the left. And so that's what I thought too, especially because there's another band playing that night. I thought for sure Movements was going to be on the smaller side because we've seen them on the smaller side before. At least once together, yeah. When they played with Census Fail. Remember that one? It was a long time ago.
vaguely, I've seen Movements enough times that I can't. They blur together.
Oh yeah, and we saw them together again in Arizona. So maybe, so maybe that's our band we've seen together the most, huh? 3 times at least.
Yeah, probably. I feel like I've seen. Oh, maybe I'm thinking Citizen. I've seen a lot too, but
Yeah.
I guess they've probably played together some of the times as well.
Yeah.
with Movements.
Yeah, and that was cool at the headline with them. I saw that, not the one that you went to in Arizona at a different time. It was The Story So Far headlining, and then Citizen, then Movements, and Turnover. And so yeah, it's cool that they've continued to tour with them, like stay with them. Did you like Citizen on this last time you saw them?
It's interesting. I don't super love their last like 2, maybe 3 albums, but every time I see Citizen live, they just put on such a good show. It's like, even though there's only a couple old songs mixed in there, just every time I have a fun time. So
Yeah.
there was one time a couple years ago where I almost missed them coming through, and my friend Carly was like maybe a week or so before, "Hey, are you going to Citizen?" I was like, "No, I didn't even know they were." So I hurried and buy up a ticket, and they played with Modern Color on that one.
Okay.
That was my first time seeing Modern Color, but after that show, I was like, I can't believe I almost just like let that one go through, because it was just one of those that was like really awesome and
Yeah.
needed a good show at the time. It's hard to keep track of them though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, with people touring so much now, it's always something going on.
I feel like I used to use Facebook events to track stuff,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't seem like it works anymore.
Yeah, I used to use Instagram and like follow the bands and so I would see, but now I don't even get on there anymore. So like, yeah, day of, people are like, "Hey, you going to that show tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, didn't know that. It's my favorite band. I probably should go." So now you can make fun of me. I don't know who Modern Color is.
Oh, okay.
Tell me about them.
I don't know when they started, but they had an album in 2020 that popped off, and I think
Okay.
that's what's kind of gotten their momentum going. And that's the album that I like the most of theirs. For the title always evades me. Through the Garden or something.
So are they like a modern baseball fan?
Oh.
And so they're like, "We're going to do modern baseball, but we're going to put a color
We
to
need
the
more colors.
Yeah.
We got to paint our baseball. They're like in the hardcore slash kind of one step closer, Such Gold vibe, where
Gotcha.
they're yelling, but they're not like hardcore. I don't ever know what to call that genre, but post hardcore of sorts.
Well, I'll check them out then. They sound pretty good.
I gotta get the title right.
Yeah, you get that. 'Cause they're-
From the Leaves of Your Garden, 2020.
Okay. I will check that one out then. Now, this may be inappropriate, and I'm going to put you on the spot.
Just the spot.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's inappropriate. What's your favorite topping on pizza?
Cheese.
Classic. And what's your favorite pizza place?
Maverick.
That's so funny. Shout out Maverick. For anybody that doesn't know what Maverick is, it's a gas station.
And they're eventually going to take over the West Coast. If you don't know, you better know.
Well, yeah, they just got Come and Go. They bought them out, and then we're Come and Go. It's all
They bought
Maverick.
'em?
Yeah, dude. Come and Goes are gone. It's all Maverick now. They're gonna get Circle K next. You better watch out, Circle K. Maverick and Come and Go's coming for you.
They quickly wanted to get Come and Go, huh?
As quick as possible. It was a necessity. He's trying to hold back that contagious laugh. He's trying not to do it. You got a vein in your forehead, though, that I've never seen before. As he feels for it. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to music. How many concerts would you say that you've been to?
It's so hard to guess. At some point, like 2016 to pre-pandemic, feel like I was going to like 2 or 3 a week.
Yep.
A lot of it local shows that are not 20, 30, $40 a ticket, but with all those included, I feel like it has to be well over 200. But
Dang.
sometimes, going back to the like paper tickets, sometimes I'm like, I could count up my paper tickets till it went to the e-ticket, but then I could go through my emails and probably get a pretty accurate number.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've wanted to do that, but it sounds a little daunting, so I've never actually gone through and counted. But
I think that's a safe number though for you. Like I think some people are like, yeah, right, he hasn't been that much. No, Tyler has for sure.
yeah, with 15 whatever it is plus years, it's got to be. I know it's got to be well over 100, but if I had to guess, I'd say
easy.
over 200.
There was that one week when we were up at school and we came down to Utah for Thanksgiving that we did 3 in that like long weekend. So yeah, I know for sure you do 2 or 3 easy, no problem.
Rip to $20, $10 ticket prices.
For real. Now we can only go once a year now.
Ugh.
And how many times have you been to Warped Tour?
I went 2013 every year till it ended.
Dang.
And in 2015, I went to Houston and Dallas.
Was that back-to-back days?
Yeah.
That's so sick.
That was a wild experience. So I was working a sales job in Louisiana. So it was like a 3-hour drive to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I had a cousin who lived in Houston, so I got to stay with him for a night for free.
Yeah, nice.
And then I had a brother-in-law that was working a business trip in Dallas, so I got to stay in his hotel for free.
Oh, there you go.
But the Dallas one, I got lost, like, parking. I entered one side and exited another side, and I spent almost an hour finding my car after. I was like, great, am I lost here?
Just wait for all the cars to leave. And then whatever one's left, that's yours now.
But, yeah.
Is that when you still had the old Toyota?
Yeah, 1989 Toyota Camry.
Yeah, beautiful
with
car.
track seat belts.
Yes.
That was always a good time in college, picking someone up who had never seen that they exist.
Uh-huh.
And I start the car and they freak out that the seatbelts are moving, and I think they're freaking out about something else.
Yeah. You're like, what's going on? What's around?
Like, what's the problem? They're like, oh, why are your seatbelts moving? And I'm like, have you never seen this?
The car's possessed. It doesn't like you.
Oh, I should have
Get
just
out.
ran with people. Oh, I don't know what's happening. This has never happened before.
Freaking people. I had 2 cars that did that. And I always think, I probably told you this back in the day, but I always think about my sister had one of those cars and she went probably like McDonald's or something and got an ice cream cone. And she forgot about the seatbelt and started the car, and the seatbelt came back and knocked the ice cream out of the cone.
Whoops.
Yep, so you gotta be careful with those things, man. They'll get you. There's no sensors to stop. They just, once they're going, they keep going.
It's funny, too, that it was just the shoulder. Like, so you're not actually buckled. You just look like you're buckled.
Yeah.
It's cop proof.
Yeah. Bring that back.
They were
man.
on top of it in the 80s, I guess.
Yeah, they get it. I remember once in that beautiful car that you had, you can tell me if you remember the story better than me, but I don't know where we were going. We had there was like 2 or 3 girls in the back seat, and the car just we're going down the road, and like a piece of your plastic from underneath was coming out, so you and I hopped out underneath and yanked it off.
Pulled over to a rest stop and drove 2 tires up on the curb so we could kind of get into it better, and yeah, just ripped off that splash guard.
And they were freaking out the whole time. They were not happy that something was going on.
Just yanking something off
Is your
the car.
car gonna break?
It's fine.
Are we gonna make it? Well, we made it. I don't know where we were going, but we made it.
That had to have been to a concert, because I think, was that the one, I don't know if you were with me, but we were like half an hour from the venue and I got pulled over. Were you?
I don't think so. I don't remember
I
that.
feel like Danielle was in the car, but it was Emmy Davis and 2 other. Oh, it may have just been. Anyways,
just you and the ladies. Good for you.
I was trying to start up my maps, and the cop saw me on my phone, and then I played poor college student card, and it actually worked. And
oh, nice.
Got off with a warning, which was good because I didn't have the money for that.
Yeah.
But...
Had money for the concert ticket though.
That's
always,
right.
Always.
Buy ticket, find out the funding later.
Yeah, figure it out later, huh? Or sneak in. We might have done that once. Well, I did it once. Do you remember that? We saw, I want to say maybe Sorority Noise and Citizen and Turnover at Kilby Court.
Someone had one ticket, but we got like 2 or 3 of us in.
Well, yeah, I had 2 tickets. So you met up with us, and it was sold out. We didn't think it was going to be sold out. And you came down for that show. So I was like, just go in and then come right back out. So you went in.
I think we just rolled the stamps or something. That's funny.
And plus, I mean, we look the same. So if you walk out and I walk in, they're not going to know the difference.
Yeah, Kilby's chill.
Yeah. I mean, we've given them enough money.
Yeah.
Plus, we bought merch from the bands. We made it right. But yeah, sorry, Kilby Court. I did sneak in once.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Man, what others? Like, we've been to a ton of shows. We've seen Silverstein and Senses Fail a couple times.
It'd be interesting if we had an accurate count of the venues. I wonder if we've been to Kilby more or if we've been to the Complex more.
I would think the Complex. Because I think I've only been to Kilby 3 times.
Oh, really?
We saw Handguns there, so that was another one.
Oh,
Handguns
man.
in Rome. And it was just like us.
Small crowd.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a Sunday? I think it was a Sunday.
I think that's what the issue was. Because there was like 5 people other than the bands there for real.
And they kept staring at us, and it was like trying not to make eye contact, looking away, and then like look back at the band, and you're staring at each other again, and you keep like, oh, this is awkward.
They're probably the whole time, are those guys twins? I think they're twins. You guys think they're twins? That's what they were doing the whole time. And then, yeah, we saw Home Safe, Life Lessons. So, yeah, every time I've been there, it's been with you. That's it. That's the only times I've been there.
Was that Sorority Noise show, was that the one with Turnover?
I think so. Uh-huh.
I don't know why this stuck in my brain, but there was someone in front of us that was like super dancing into Turnover.
Yeah.
And
like
at the time,
crazy.
it pissed me off because like this music is so chill,
Yeah.
and the way this person is dancing does not match.
Mm-mm.
And that person was driving me crazy. But now that I love Turnover and Peripheral Vision, it's like, I don't know, people just have fun with it. Like,
yeah.
One time I saw them, somebody started a tiny little mosh pit, and then that was good people watching because everyone around them was doing what I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting all mad, like, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, they're just goofing around.
Yeah, wrong show for them. But at the same time, you're like, I just want to have fun. I'm here.
Yeah.
But that's how, when I saw them in Arizona, like, the whole crowd was going crazy. And it's so funny because it's like they're so chill. But, I mean, when they're live, they do get into it more. So are you going to their 10th anniversary, Peripheral Vision?
I am.
Nice. That's 20 days from now. Coming up fast.
Yep. Already May.
It's gonna be May.
May the 4th be with you. Oh, it is.
That's today.
In the current present, May the 4th.
Dude, it's funny. I walk out of the
you.
apartment today. First person I see, coming outside, he's wearing a May the 4th be with you shirt. Like, oh, man, he's just gonna walk around all day showing that shirt off.
Geared up, ready to go.
He was ready. Tell me, what do you want to bring up about music with us? I've been asking all the questions here.
Ooh, I guess I'm curious. Something I've noticed. I like to kind of look at trends and stuff. I feel like the pandemic really knocked the wind out of the sails of a lot of bands. So I'm curious on your take on that. Like, do you think some bands were able to recover decently? Did I say that word weird? Decently? Anyways.
So, like, did they financially make it through?
So, like, for example, I think Knuckle Puck had some crazy momentum in, like, 2019.
Yeah.
They're really growing quite fast. And then I feel like the pandemic really knocked out a lot of their momentum.
For
and
sure.
I don't think they're, like, have no fans anymore by any means. But I think that energy really stalled them. And maybe they just haven't hit the paint hard back at it again.
Yeah.
Like they used to, but it just seems that's one example that comes to mind. But it seems like there's some bands that just never quite like clicked back into gear.
Well, you can hear my conspiracy theory, and I'm going to throw Kevin Lyman under the bus, right? Like, he knew what was coming. Like, how would you stop Warped Tour a year before a pandemic, right? Like,
that is interesting timing.
I mean, obviously he didn't know, but like,
right, he didn't know
crazy.
COVID was going to happen, but that's
yeah, like all these bands had to stop doing what they're doing and their income, right? So, and for us being so bored, like that's all we wanted was music, but then the bands couldn't do it. It's like there was those awkward, we'll play in front of a camera, you can pay for us to
Did you pay for any of those live streams?
Oh, I've been on OnlyFans a ton. No, I never paid. I watched the. Remember when Census Fail did the Joshua Tree? Did you watch that one?
No.
So I think you could pay to watch it like live or like that day or whatever. But I just waited. It came out eventually, and that one was really cool. Like just to be out in nature. They did. I think it was an album at sunset and then an album at sunrise. So it was like the same night, and it was cool. Like it came out really good. Like beautiful backdrop in the desert. Like, and too bad like COVID was a thing. Cause I wonder if they would have brought people out for that. Cause that would have been so much fun to be out in the middle of the desert doing that. The one thing though, to go off of what you're saying is what I've seen is ticket prices. They just stayed up.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah, because people are just like, oh well, people are paying $50 now instead of the $20 plus the $30 service fee on top of that. So now it's $80 for a concert that used to be $20, $25. But I kind of thought that would go back down. Nope. Here we are.
I forgot to ask, are you cool with cussing?
Go for it. Say what you need to say.
Fuck Live Nation and Ticketmaster.
Now we're gonna get canceled. Now this show's never gonna go anywhere.
Demonetized.
Thanks, Tyler. Jeez. But like, yeah, everything's gone up. Pricing's gone up. But I'm happy for the bands that have continued to stick with it. I know Shane told in his podcast was just saying how they were sitting on a record like, oh, this thing's gonna be over in 2 weeks, so we'll wait 2 more weeks to release our record and then we'll tour it. So it definitely affected bands and in a negative way. The one thing with us specifically, which we need to get into, is how we were in bands before that all happened. And it's my fault. I was gone. I left. I moved to Arizona. But when I was down there, I was really excited because the 2 previous bands that you and I were in, I was like, man, this is gonna be great. Like nobody's doing anything. And I was like, I have this electronic set. I could either just plug in, this and record that way and like send files. And so I was like, man, everybody's gonna be sending files. But it was really interesting how nobody was doing anything, but we never had time for music. And so I was really excited for us to be able to find a way to make music that way. Because yeah, I get it. Like I'm out of town. Like I can't be the drummer anymore. But that way, potentially it could have been. But then just getting everybody on the same page. And I mean, I recorded a few things, but then they never went anywhere. Like the next steps were never taken. So
I envy the people who, when the pandemic hit and we realized it was going to be months, that just were like, I'm going to develop a new hobby and like learn new skills. And they just dove in head first like it was no problem. And I feel like I kind of went in a survival mode of like, oh, this is going to be just a few months.
For sure. Yeah. And if they would have said like at the beginning, hey, it's going to be half a year to a year, we would have all gone into it a different way. But, oh, it's just going to be 2 weeks. Oh, it's just going to be 2 weeks. Oh, it's just going to be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so like I just kept like waiting for that to actually happen, and it didn't happen.
That's an interesting perspective. I definitely think I would have made different choices if I'd known, hey, this is going to be at least a year, maybe longer.
Yeah.
I was kind of just like, I got to get through just the next couple of weeks. And then it was just like you're saying, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks.
It's crazy. Now we know, but we didn't then. Frustrating. The other thing to go along with how many concerts you've been to, how much merch do you have from bands?
I used to think I was like a hoarder, but I've heard of some people that have like boxes of shirts that they don't even fit in the closet kind of thing. So I think there are some that have way more, but at one point, I think the last time I counted my shirts, I was at like 93 or something.
That's a lot.
But I have 2 band quilts now. One was 16 shirts, and then the more recent one is 12. So
band quilt just being your shirts turned into a blanket now?
Yeah.
Right
a
on.
few retired that initially I thought had way too much sentimental value that I couldn't get rid of them.
Uh-huh.
But for example, one on my bigger quilt is a Memphis Mayfire shirt, and I don't care about them anymore. So it doesn't hold the sentimental value that it used to. But
yeah, but still.
It's almost like in some ways it's like tattoos where it's a flash in time.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like I have an Our Last Night tattoo and they've just gone full in on the covers, which is fine. That's cool. They've found a way to make a living, but I don't resonate with it really, so I don't really listen to them so much. But I don't have a problem having the tattoo, so it's like the quilt is like a nice like. Oh yeah, I remember when like Yellow Card was one of my top favorite bands, and they're still a good band. I'm not going to be listening to them.
Well, yeah, we all evolve, we change, mature or immature or whatever, but
unless you're our college homie Emmy, she's diehard yellow card.
She'll never stop. What do you think it would take for her to stop being a yellow card fan?
Oh,
Emmy, we're coming for you.
millions of dollars.
We have some questions for you, all regarding yellow card.
That would be interesting to see what she would say, though.
You know, Emmy's
Be a high
another
price.
good example of us meeting somebody where we went to school, because she was wearing a handguns beanie, which I'd never seen anybody wearing any handguns merch at all. So that's how I initially met Emmy, was because she was wearing handgun stuff.
That's kind of funny to think about too, like out of context, some random Rexburg people seeing this little girl wearing a beanie that says handguns.
I'm sure nobody understood that it was
not
a band.
knowing it's a band.
Yeah.
Like, what is this girl? She's very pro gun, I guess.
She's not. Well, I mean, she might be, but I don't think that's the
Yeah.
vibe she's trying to give off. I think it's all just pop punk. She is definitely a pop punk princess for sure. All things pop punk, and I mean that in an endearing way. Like,
Yeah.
all things pop punk.
Respect.
Yeah, he just saluted you. I mean, you can't see it. We don't have any video. Sorry, I mean, but you got to salute. I want to talk more about merch, but you brought up Our Last Night. Like, that's a cool like band story. Like the two brothers getting signed on Epitaph, and I think they were like 13 and 15 or something like that, right? Like, that was a cool album, and then they went independent, and so like I think that's like why the whole cover thing started, and like, you know, they're self-funding, which when they were doing covers on the side, like, they were cool, they were good, like, that means they're such great musicians. But yeah, I get what you're saying about the whole, now they're just a cover band. It's like, oh, okay, you're just a cover band, cool. But tell me about the guitar that you won.
Oh man.
Let's hear about that. You don't have to tell the ending part of the story, but just hear how you got it.
So they, for a couple of years, were doing some social media promotions, and you had to do various steps to get entered. And ironically, I won two different contests.
I didn't know
from
there was
them.
two. I thought it was just the one.
Two separate, completely
Okay.
separate. Maybe 2017, 2018, the first one. It was just for 2 tickets.
Oh, nice.
But then I was with my family camping, and I thought that I could time it where leave the camping trip and go to the show.
Okay.
But the timing didn't work out, and I missed the show, and I was all annoyed because I was like, I've won these tickets through the internet. But anyways, later, another one, it was like a repost, tag a friend. I can't remember. Anyways, fairly simple steps on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up winning the top prize, which was a Kiesel 7-string, which was just insane. And after the show was over, I go into their green room, and then they all signed it, and got to hang out with them for like 15 minutes. And
That's cool, though.
that was a trip. And it was at the complex. So
Naturally. Big side or small side?
big side.
Nice. Good for them.
So after the show ended, everyone's, trying to chat with them, and they're trying to be nice to the fans, but there's that balance of like, I'm not going to be here for like 4 hours talking
For
to
sure.
fans.
Yeah. They'll trap you.
So they told me to like wait for either their merch guy or photographer, and he guided me to the green room. And yeah, it's pretty wild experience.
Were they cool? They nice? Fun
Yeah.
guys to hang out with?
Yeah.
Right on. And then, yeah, you just walked out of
And
there
then
with
I
a brand
walked
new
out.
guitar,
Yeah, with a guitar.
signed by all of them.
And then later had an existential crisis. Like, I'm not even good at a 6-string, and I own a 7-string. At one point, I had 6 guitars. Like, what am I doing with 6
Holy cow,
guitars?
that's a lot. Good for you.
It was the 7-string, a regular electric, an acoustic, and then a bass guitar for the practice space,
Mhm.
bass guitar for home. I must have had 2 electric guitars.
You had that black one, I remember.
Oh, that's what it was. The black regular shape, and then
Mhm.
the white triangular one.
The V? Did you have a V? Or like a Jackson or something? What'd you have?
It was a Jackson, yeah.
Okay, right on.
Of the triangle flying V, whatever.
That's cool, man. I vaguely remember that one because you got.
I didn't have it for long. I
Okay.
don't think. I think I got it. I feel like I got it while we were still in Idaho.
Yeah,
But
I think you got it like right before I left.
yeah.
So let's sum up the merch. You have 93 shirts, you said,
That was the last I counted.
and then I just got a little tour of some of your banners that you have, your wall flags. How many of those do you have?
I haven't actually counted. I don't think 15 to 20.
Okay, I'd say at least 10. 'Cause there's 2 for your strong, a census fail, knocked loose. What else did I see?
Kublai Khan. It's funny that they're right around the corner, but I'm trying to go
Yeah.
off memory.
Don't you dare stand up and go look. That's cheating.
Stick to Your Guns.
That was one.
Fossil Youth. Knuckle Puck. Did you already say Movements?
No, but that one's on the hallway. The Feel Something one. That one's cool.
Silent Planet.
Right on. We're gonna have to get some pictures from you for those quilts that you have and for some of all the other merch you have. So how much would you say between the merch and concerts that you've been to? How much would you say you've spent? Not on buying music. I just want merch and concerts. You can break it down separately if you want.
That's a crazy estimate. Back in the days of $20 shirts, I would buy them like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there was a $15 shirt, I was a sucker. Ironically, one time I saw Nothing Nowhere open for Senses Fail. This is before
Isn't that the one with Movements?
maybe it wasn't Senses Fail. They played with Thrice. I don't know if Senses Fail was on.
We saw them with Census Fail once. I forget who else was on that. But that was at the Complex. I'll have to go back.
I can't think of it if I'm mixing up two again. But anyways, there was a Nothing Nowhere shirt for $15.
Nice.
And I bought it just because I liked the design, but I actually didn't like his performance initially.
Okay.
But then I kept telling people like, "Oh, look at this band shirt that I bought. I don't even like the band."
Do you like him now?
So then I started actually going through the music because I felt bad that I like hadn't even actually given them a listen.
Such a poser.
And now Nothing Nowhere, according to Last.fm, is my top most listened to artist.
So the shirt did the trick.
They got me.
They should pay you back for that shirt. They should give you your money back.
And that is why bands should do $15 shirts.
Amen. Now we can end things. Thanks everybody. Bye.
But if we say $20 a shirt,
as he stares at the ceiling, trying to do math in his head.
Yep, gotta grab the calculator.
I can't do it.
We'll just roughly say, let's say 130 shirts times 20. That's $2,600 just in shirts, assuming they're all $20 each, which lately I've only bought in a couple that were like 35. That's pushing it.
That's so much for a shirt.
There was one, I bought a Like Moss the Flame shirt. I really liked the design at the night of, but every time I look at it, I'm like, I spent $35 on that. It's like, it's a shirt. So now I'm bitter because it wasn't a $20 shirt.
We're both bitter. We're both grumpy old men when it comes to prices. I can't believe how expensive stuff is.
The economy is bullshit. The way it costs living.
And what about concert tickets? So what are you going to do?
Oh, geez.
200 times 30, 40? How are you going to average that one out? Give me a number for that one.
So let's see. 10 plus years ago, I feel like my average show was like $18 or something.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going as frequently then. I wonder when I started going. I had to have been around, we met in college, like 2015, when I started like really hitting hard.
Yeah, you already were going pretty often, but which, let's talk about this for a second. Where we lived was 4 hours minimum of a drive to either Boise or Salt Lake. And so when we're talking about all these concerts, it was an adventure.
Committed.
Yeah.
And a lot of them I went to, I think probably, well, you can tell me, but some of them, when we were carpooling with people, they had classes the next day, so they couldn't find somewhere to sleep. So we were driving hours, hitting the show, and then driving hours back, getting home at like 4 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
Just exhausted.
I did that several times. Other than the time we came down here for Thanksgiving, so we stayed down here for a few days. Like, I would leave class early, meet up with whoever. Sometimes I would drive, sometimes you drive, get whatever. And I remember a couple of times getting back and be like, well, I'm just going to shower and go to class. Like, it's already time. Sun's coming up. Can't do that anymore. Talk about being an old man.
Oh,
Can't do that
geez.
anymore.
As a mostly lifelong night owl, it's so weird. I worked a seasonal outdoor job last year, and I had to get up. We started work at 7 a.m., so I had to get up at 6:30. And for me, that's like a rarity.
Yeah.
But I actually grew to like it, because then it goes dark, and then we're up for maybe an hour longer, and then we get in our tents, and I had like an hour or two to myself, and then I'd fall asleep and wake up in the morning, and now I'm like, I used to want to stay out till midnight every single night I possibly could, and now I'm always like, can I be in bed at 9? That would be
Grandpa,
great.
you are the old man now. Look at you. Once Jeopardy's over, time for bed. Drink your warm milk. So that job that you were saying that you would wake up kind of early, you're out in nature every day, right?
Yep.
So where did you go? What did you do?
It's called, the organization's called Utah Conservation Corps.
Okay.
So it's through AmeriCorps,
Okay.
which is a national organization, but they try to do different conservation projects. And I did half my time out of the Logan, Utah office, which is northern Utah, and then half my time out of Moab, Utah, which is southern Utah. So I got to do various projects throughout the state of Utah. A lot of it is supposed to be trail work, but we'd get various projects, and I ended up doing a lot of like chainsaw tree removal to different invasive species. But it was nice to good change of pace from an office job.
Yeah. And then like you would like hike in, set up camp, right? And then go work, and you'd just be out there for a few days, right?
Most scenarios we could be somewhere where we could camp near the truck, the work truck, so we could have a little bit more gear with the work truck.
Nice.
I did 2 1-week hitches that we backpacked in. And those were definitely more challenging, trying to bring tools and gear and food. And
For sure. How fun though? Did you enjoy it?
mostly it was a challenge socially for me, but I'm 33 and a lot of people were 20 to 25 and kind of more in the college, my interpretation in the college kind of clique mindset, trying to form their little friend groups and cliques, and I don't feel like I really ever resonate with those
Gotcha. Yeah, that would
exclusionary social types, so
I could see that being a little hard for sure. And then what about the job that you did pretty recently where you went to Arizona? Tell me about that one.
so it's just volunteer, but it's a natural building workshop. Learned how to build dome homes. So with the cost of everything going up, concert tickets, merch,
The important things.
food, rent, life, it's got me really interested in ways that people are living cheaply. So they build mostly with earth, and you have to use a little bit of concrete for stability, but overall much more environmentally friendly. But my main interest is cost. They can build one dome for $2,000 to $5,000. Tools, material, everything. You just got to put in the sweat equity. But pretty cool. We built one 12-foot diameter dome.
Okay.
And when they're done with their house, they'll have 15 domes.
Nice.
They'll have a huge 16-foot kitchen dome. They have a 16-foot bedroom. So lots of various spaces, but pretty cool way they can share the knowledge they've learned from building all these natural homes.
Yeah.
Cob, adobe, some terms in the natural building world. But anyways, got to get in and get my hands dirty and pretend like I wasn't stressed about money for a month.
Did you like it? Would you recommend other people do it? Is that a good option for building a home for you? What do you think?
Yeah, mojavicenter.com or Mojave Center on Instagram. Good spot to check out. Good resources.
And would you build one of those for yourself? Would you live in one?
I guess zoning is pretty difficult, so you have to really pick a good location. But yeah, if I could, I'll put in the sweat time. I'm not paying $500K for a house.
I don't know how people can right now.
That's absurd.
Good for you people that are doing it.
I
We envy
guess.
you. Good for you. All right, let's retract. Let's go back after we met. We eventually played in a band together. Do you want to talk about that?
High C?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
We had both of them. Tell me your side of the story, your experiences, anything you want to say.
So you did High C for maybe a year, give or take, before I started into it, right?
Yeah.
So we were in college, Rexburg, and I've played the guitar some at this point, but not very much. And I definitely had not really played in a group. So it was intimidating, but with how much I loved live music, I was definitely interested, and got offered to be a guitar player, and had a lot of fun playing in Carlton's little was his dad,
Is his
stepdad,
father-in-law, yeah.
father-in-law's airplane hangar, just up in the little loft, dinking around. And me, for some reason, obsessed with always jumping off the amp and finding parts of a song that semi breakdown-ish that I could jump off the amp and fling my guitar in there a little bit.
You should have hopped on that hanging airplane and hopped off of that. Right? That would have been sick. A couple broken bones, no big deal.
That first show we played in Rexburg was nuts, though. It was like 200 people showed up because it was like one of the first things of the semester.
Yeah, whatever their capacity was, we exceeded it just a tad bit.
And I look back and laugh. Like, I didn't know the ins and outs of playing a show. And I remember I tuned my guitar like 7 times, like 15 minutes before we went on.
So I talked with Christian earlier, which we talked about Mike and Penny's practice space. What they let us, like, such good people, amazing people, for letting us just play awful music, like pretty much in their garage, right, like right next to their house. And then so yeah, we talked about that show some, and he said one of his first shows, their bass player didn't even plug in and he didn't know. And so I was like, oh man, Tyler did something funny. What was it that Tyler, you tuned 7 times? Yeah, you just kept tuning because you didn't know what to do. So did your guitar stay in tune the whole time? Did you have to adjust anything?
I'm pretty sure it did. I think at that time too, I got too aggressive with the pick and I'd break strings regularly. That's probably a common new guitar player thing, I would imagine.
Did you ever get snapped on your wrist or anything? You ever get hurt?
I don't think so.
You got lucky.
I think it usually happened at the practice space when I was just going too ham.
Just how we try to do it. Just go crazy. Have fun with it. I remember we talked about adding another guitarist for a while, and I was just like, man, well, freaking Tyler, I go to concerts with him all the time. He loves music just as much as all we do. So, you know, I'll speak for myself. I wasn't a great musician, but I was passionate about music, right? So that's why I wanted to be involved in it in any way possible. So to have somebody that had that same passion, I didn't even think about like anybody else joining the band. You're like, yeah, I'll try it out. You did great, man. You did such a good job.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Good memories for sure.
Is there anything else about the high C era you want to talk about?
Sometimes I wish I would have known more about music writing or just felt more comfortable with that process, because we definitely had like a cool opportunity to write like some really fun songs, but I think sometimes when we went to the practice space we just would like butt heads a little bit. I remember that one where someone had a problem with the lyric TJ had wrote.
Probably me. We can just say you point fingers at me. It's probably me. Go ahead.
Anyways, the word amateur like got thrown in the mix, and TJ got all hurt that we'd called his lyric writing amateur. And the intent wasn't to put him down. It was just like, hey, I think we should improve this.
We can do better than this. For sure.
I never quite knew how to plug my way in, and I think a few times I tried to tell Carlton like, oh, this part, like, what if we do this thing? But it maybe came off like your songwriting sucks, because Carlton would put so much writing in, which was really cool.
He put a ton of time. Like before we really had the band going, he lived in this house, and so like I remember going to his house and just guitar and drums and like I guess vocals too, like him and I trying to write like the early parts of the song. So yeah, he put a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears, like, you know, a lot of emotion. And so I could see, you know, somebody coming in like the new guy, right, saying, hey, try this instead, and no, I know what I'm doing, right? But I think that's why there's contention, right? Like it's cool that you bring that up, because most people would kind of beat around the bush and be like, oh, it was great, it was so much fun, like I love the guys. But yeah, there was sometimes, and I'll be honest, like I was usually the culprit, right? But we just want it to be good. Like we want it to be as best as possible. And it doesn't mean it's any offense. It's just people don't know how to take constructive criticism, or people who, you know, say that I'm confrontational, which I'm not trying to be confrontational in the sense of I want to start something with you. It's just like, hey, like there's an issue, let's talk about it. Yeah. Let's get better. Let's be better. But I'd say overall, us guys in high C, we had a ton of fun together. Like, we joked around way more than we were serious, for sure. Yeah, in a lot of ways, practicing was more like just hanging out than actually like, we need to get better as musicians. Well, that's been one of the fun things with you, is so many times we would drive to band practice together, either that band or the other band, and then we would get to catch up and talk about life on the drive there. So yeah, I was just hanging out with friends, listening to music, playing music. Now that I think about it too, it's good we never got stuck in the snow in Rigby. I don't know how we didn't. Sometimes I look back on Rexburg, I'm like, how did I even survive there?
those random storms that would be like -20 Fahrenheit.
And they never took care of the roads.
Just throw some dirt on, some red dirt, wherever they would source that from.
I remember every time there was dirt. I remember every time it would snow there. The next day there'd be 10 more people in crutches or in a wheelchair because they never shoveled the walks. There was stairs everywhere.
Interesting town.
And then that one roundabout, they never plowed it, so it's just turned into ice, and so it was a skating rink, cars just slamming into each other. We made it out alive somehow, man. Good for us. So yeah, any more high C stories? Do you want to call anybody else out? Poke fun of anybody else?
No.
Just kidding.
I think also just think of the random places we played, like that dome building.
Yeah.
That acoustic show.
Mm-hmm.
Randomly got what was that venue in Logan?
The Y Sound.
Y Sound.
That was a fun one.
And then I can't remember if it was just after and I visited, or if I played. There was some outdoor one of those festival kind of. I think Cameron had taken over for me at that point.
So we both had moved on at that point then, because I was never in there when Cameron was in there.
Oh,
I had moved away.
I can't even remember what it's called, but anyways.
Was it the one at skate park? Because that one was after I left. And
I don't remember.
There was one, like, I think by some water or something, like a body of water. But we did one outdoor. Well, I did one outdoor with you, and we did another one outdoor.
The skate park was my last one.
Cool.
So.
How was that one? Tell me about it.
It was cool. I think more people showed up than I thought, but it was also like just weird, like not playing in a room.
Yeah, different for sure.
But it was cool.
Great location.
I think it was Tommy that had figured out how to like plug in, because that was like our main concern. Like, are we gonna have enough power for everything?
It's a legitimate concern. Yep.
More bands should do shows at skate parks.
Have you seen the newest Turnstile music video that just came out for, I think, Birds? So they have like an outside like show they're playing, but it looks like they're actually playing because like everybody's like super into it. So I wonder if like behind the backdrop, if they have like a generator or something, so they actually are playing. Because how hard to make a music video when you're actually not like getting the crowd to go crazy when there's like very minimal sounds. Like, I hope they're really playing. Like, hope those people got to enjoy a show, because it looks like they are.
That's true. With the crowds, I would think you'd need some sound so you're not faking. Okay, now this is gonna be this part of this song.
Yeah.
Trying to fake that.
And then that one show you talked about in Logan that we played, the Y Sounds, like that was a fun one because we got to play with the home team, which they've blown up. Like, they're headlining with Broadside, and they've played with Census Fail, or was it Silverstein? One of the two they toured with. Like,
yeah, getting on some big bills for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if like they played in the skate park in Idaho Falls. I don't know if you were there for that one. That's how we kind of made that connection with them.
I was hanging out there.
Yeah, we didn't play that one. We had a guitarist that wasn't able to make that one, so yeah, we just all went and hung out, which was still a fun show. But yeah, then to be able to play with them before they got big, like that was cool. They were cool guys. They were fun to play a show with.
Random shirt memory. With learning graphic design in college, I had made a Danny the Skeleton Horse shirt, and I think I wore it to that skate park show with the home team.
Oh, nice.
And I thought that they would be stoked because, like, oh, look, this design I made.
Yeah.
But they were mad because I, like, made my own bootleg shirt and didn't pay them, which is fair.
Yeah.
To be annoyed that I'm not paying them. But
yeah.
I had hit them up before to try to make a design, and they didn't ever really respond, so... But it wasn't like I'm selling them at their show. It's just a one-off, but
yeah,
pretty funny. I still have that shirt.
Nice. And you made some good shirts. You made our band shirts. You always did such a good job, man. What are you laughing at?
Oh, just funny looking back in hindsight.
You did some good designs, dude. I still got one of the High C shirts and one of the Cheshire shirts. Two of those. You always did a good job, man. It's cool, like, because I'm not creative in that sense at all. Like, it's really cool for me to have an idea, and then like 10 minutes later, you're like this? And I'm like, yeah, it's exactly what I was picturing. How'd you do that? You're a magician. Tell me more about, like, outside of music, the other art. So, like, graphic design, photography, how'd you get into those, and what are you still doing with those things?
Sure. I got my start with photography in Boy Scouts. I actually did a photography merit badge.
Nice.
And it taught me about the rule of thirds and composition. So that really got my eye training on how to, like, frame a photo. but I didn't even get a DSLR until I was in college. So I was just shooting on a Walmart digital camera.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I wish someone had thrown a DSLR my way sooner, but learned a fair bit in college. And then after college, I really wanted to try to be a touring photographer.
Which you did for a little bit.
Did a little bit. Was shooting a lot of bands in Salt Lake and ended up on the road with a band out of Boise, their first national tour.
And who is that?
Otis Julius now,
Yeah.
formerly Big O.
Yeah. Which we played a show with Big O
Yeah.
back in the day.
That was definitely a fun time, but I also realized, like, holy hell, the people who do that full time regularly for multiple years, like, they're putting in the work.
Yeah.
It's definitely not easy
For sure.
to get to the point where you're making a livable income off that, but respect to those who do. I just kind of realized, like, I don't think I have the network for keeping this going full time. And then also I was kind of slowing down a little bit in 2019, and then 2020, you know, was like,
Oh, so you knew too. You and Kevin Lyman were together. But still, what a fun experience, man.
yeah.
You got to do that.
But live music definitely got me really familiar with, like, low light. And so the couple of weddings that I've done helped me. The live music helped me with the weddings because you have to think quickly and get to your settings quickly. And don't think I would have been prepared for a wedding if I hadn't done any music photography.
Yeah. Well, you're a wonderful artist. I really mean that, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, your graphic design's sick. Your pictures are always really nice.
I'm definitely my worst critic.
I think we can all relate to that, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
You can name your price, but I think I've told you this before. You have one of my favorite pictures of all time, where you took a picture of the Utah State Capitol, and there's that lightning striking in the background.
Oh, yeah.
That is the coolest picture I've ever seen. I still want a copy of it. You've promised me before,
Oh, that's true.
but I guess
You
the
still remember about it.
inflation's gone up, huh? So you're gonna charge me more. That's a cool picture, man. It's really nice.
That one's wild too, because I was just doing a engagement shoot. I don't know. It was a couple, anyways,
Uh-huh.
at the Capitol,
Nice.
and that one was either before or after they had left. But it was just like a quick, like, oh, there's a little bit of storm in the distance. I feel like lightning. A lot of people who get cool lightning shots, they're posted up, like ready, waiting.
Yeah. and then you just come along, right
It's-
place,
oh,
right time. I got paid to be there, actually. Check this out. You got the coolest picture ever. Yeah, I want to see that again, man. I haven't seen that one for a while. It's a beautiful picture. So, any more about artwork?
Oh, and then lately, I haven't been doing as much art, but still do photo shoots here and there. But definitely eased off on the design work as well. I dropped my Creative Cloud subscription back because they're charging $60 a month if you agree to pay them for 1 year.
Mm.
That's $60 a month.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's $90
Holy cow.
to have access to all the programs.
Wow.
Which is absurd because pre-subscription model, I think Photoshop costs like $200 to $400 a
Mhm.
one-time purchase.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, getting the updates is great, I guess, but I feel like they should have both options.
That'd be nice if they did. But yeah, everything's subscription now. That's
Rent the
thing.
world. So the capitalists say.
All right, let's go back to being in bands. We've been bouncing around. There's been no steady flow here, but I like it. It's been fun.
ADHD.
That's us for sure. So yeah, you joined High C. We had some momentum going for a while. That was pretty fun. Like, I really enjoyed that time. Like, I don't regret any of it. And to the guys that I pissed off in that, I apologize here. Sorry, but I ended up moving. You know, we were in a college town, so of course people are going to start moving. So I was the first one to leave, which sucked. Like, I was really like bummed. Like, I know I made the choice, but I put so much time into that band, and I tried recording the songs several times, right? So like, it stinks that we still don't really have much to prove from what we did, like the time spent. But I had so much love and passion for that, but yeah, I left, and then not too long later, you left, and we ended up in the same town. Same
Yeah, I
ish
think
area.
it was like early summer that you moved of 2016, and I moved like September, October 2016. So
Yeah, and by that time, I had been tricked again into being in a band with somebody that I'd already been in with once, and they followed a pattern of disappearing, and it was perfect. Once they disappeared, you had moved down.
oh, the guy that played bass was also in High C.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yep. So, Yeah, he disappeared, and you moved down, and so I told the guitar player of Cheshire. I said, "Hey, like, my friend just moved. He's passionate. He's a great musician. He's never played bass, but he's our bass player if you want him to be." And he's like, like he didn't know like what to say or what to whatever. But we needed to figure something out because we had a show set up pretty quick after you started, right? But man, you came in, you picked up a bass, and it just boom.
That
was you.
That was fun to play.
You brought a song to the band, like, so we got that. I feel like within a month, like, you had added your song that you wanted to add.
Sometimes I'm sad I got rid of that bass amp. It was a 2x15 cab.
Massive.
It's huge.
So big,
it's like from the 80s, I think. But man, that thing was loud and beautiful.
You could hear that thing in outer space, dude. It was so loud.
Shout out Mark's dad for letting us just vibrate their house.
Dude, for real, like a house full of musicians that just let us practice in their basement. And they didn't care what time it was. We've been blessed to meet some good people that let us practice wherever, dude. Like, Mark's family was so cool. I love that time we did a show for just his family in his house.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you remember that?
I forgot.
We were set up in front of the fireplace and like pictures are falling off the walls. We're playing.
Me trying to like, I want to hear my bass, but I don't want to implode your eardrums.
Yeah, eardrums are gone now for sure. But yeah, that was a fun time. Another
That was fun.
Kind of
I think I
quick run.
felt a little bit better exploring music writing at that point.
Yeah.
And we had 5 successful songs, right?
That sounds about right.
I don't know why I needed to.
One of them was yours, completely yours.
Yeah.
The whole lyrics and vision of the sound of it was all you. It was good. It's one of my favorites. You're just gonna shake your head. Yep. You're like,
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting.
I did that. We're recording. Tyler, say something.
Gotta say some audio. No head nods recorded into the microphone.
You're just like, yeah. I'm the best.
Unless I give it a.
There's the laugh, everybody. You finally got to hear it. All it took was him picking up the mic and rubbing it on his blue hair, his bright blue hair.
It is so hard not to rub the chords and stuff.
Yeah, don't touch that. Put that back. So tell me, how is it that you discovered the Blue Man Group, and why are they your favorite, and why have you patterned your whole life off the Blue Man Group? Please tell me.
Well, it's a deep conspiracy that goes back to that song from the 90s. I'm blue, dabba dee dabba die.
Mm-hmm.
It was a psyop, and ever since then I've just been obsessed with blue.
So yeah, that's what changed your life. You live in a blue car with a blue house and a blue window,
and everything is blue.
You do have a blue car.
For him and himself.
Your hair's blue. Hopefully you're not blue though. Are you feeling sad? Are you okay?
Sometimes.
I'm sorry.
Definitely.
Man. Do you need a hug? I'll hug you. Your glasses are blue. Are your eyes
That's
blue?
true. I finally
you switched.
dropped the black frame so we don't have the same exact glasses.
So people can tell us apart finally. The tattoos and blue hair is not enough. Tell me about some of your tattoos though. I mean, a lot of them are music inspired, related. You have some beautiful ones. Tell me about them.
Yeah, so most are inspired by music lyrics, but I like to pick kind of a general object that doesn't need to have context per se, but like I know what meaning inspired it for me. But yeah, it's an interesting thing when people ask, like they want to know the meaning, but when it's a stranger, it's like I'm not going to tell you some super personal information. So that balance is interesting, but yeah, it's fun. Like I think just listening to music and then maybe my visual brain, I just like hear words and then all of a sudden I start imagining like, oh, this would be a cool like art piece, and I was like, oh, that'd make a cool tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get stuck on an idea for a while, and back when I had 2 jobs, I used to call the second job the tattoo fund. But I would sit on an idea for a couple weeks and just go get it, and now I'm too poor. But
how many do you have?
30 something, 35, 38, I don't know.
I would have put my money on that it was more.
Oh, really?
Sure. Yeah. You got a couple like smaller ones like filler pieces, so yeah, I would have thought.
Left arm full and right arm almost, or right leg almost full. I had just before I moved from Oregon in 2023, there was an artist I really wanted to get something from before I moved, but where I wanted it just wasn't going to fit on my leg, the little bit of space left.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's up with your right arm and left leg being empty? Like, how come you haven't done anything there?" And I was like, "I don't know. Initially, I decided I wanted like one whole limb covered and one whole limb empty.
Yeah.
But now I feel like unbalanced."
Well, that is why you're balanced, because it's your right or your left arm and your right leg. So
Got the asymmetry.
yeah.
But he ended up convincing me to get it on my left leg, so I have
How
one.
dare you? What's that one?
It's a skull sitting on books.
Nice. And what's that? What's the story behind that one?
Based on Set Your Goals song, an old book misread,
Nice. That's cool.
which I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's about either the Bible or just scriptures in general.
Okay.
But I think Set Your Goals often had it like a ghostwriter, because they have another line in another song that says that they don't write a single line. These words we write not a single line, or something like that. And I'm like, what are you admitting that for?
Interesting. Well, I know they write some of their stuff. Have you ever listened or watched the Garza podcast? So he interviews. Wait, are we talking about Set Your Goals or Stick to Your Guns?
Set Your Goals?
Oh, I was talking about Stick to Your Guns. See,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
mixing it up now. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know enough about them to tell you, because they're the ones that they had the two vocalists, right?
Yeah.
If you mean to tell me you have two vocalists and you guys aren't writing some of your lyrics, what the heck are you guys doing? There's two of you. You better not be bringing somebody else into the project. And I haven't talked or like thought about them for a while. That song was like, I'm just trying to get my smoothie on, dog. I love that. I love that line.
Got that
It's so
Paramore
funny.
feature. For years, I wanted to see them play with Paramore, but I think
They should have toured
at
with
this
them,
point, it's an impossibility.
especially back then.
Paramore's huge now, and
Yeah.
they're not actively touring anymore. So
They're gone.
there was a minute I was harassing them on Instagram to like play shows, and they finally snapped back like, "Hey, you realize we're like adults with regular jobs? Like, we can't just
Leave us
go tour
alone,
whenever."
random blue-haired stranger.
I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm a big fan. I just want to see you guys again." But then I realized, oh, I'm pretty much harassing them, because
Yeah.
at that point, I think I was commenting like, I don't know, every other day or something.
Well, hopefully they know that it's coming from a good place of excitement and you care about them and want to see them. I want you to tell the story of the, I'm looking at it right now, underneath your sleeve, but your tattoo with the house. I'm not going to say anything more than that, so you can explain it.
It's based on the song Vacant Home by Movements. So the house is kind of mirror image. The one half is a haunted house, and then the mirror flip is just a regular house.
Yeah.
So it's partially visible under a t-shirt sleeve. And it's pretty funny when people say, "Oh, your house is upside down," and "Oh shit, what have I done?" and lift up the sleeve, and they see that it's like a mirror thing. But at that time, I was becoming not religious, and I didn't really know where my place was in the world, kind of thing. So I felt like I didn't have, like, home didn't mean the same thing that it used to mean. And I wasn't sure where home was. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that idea of just like, I guess, and I'm always into duality symbolism, so the haunted house and the regular house, just like trying to figure out where home is.
And it's such a cool one. Like, it's got a good story. It's beautiful. It's cool. I like it.
Black and gray before I thought that I was not going to get color.
And now you're all full of color. Look at you. All right, I got a couple more questions for you. And these
Shoot.
ones, again, extremely personal. I mean, need you to take your shirt off for these ones. What's your definition of punk?
That's always an interesting question. I always think like of the history of punk versus like my experience with it. And I think like the early roots, it was very like anti-establishment, anti-mainstream, which is the Roots. And I think anyone should know at least the Roots. But of course,
Yeah, they play for Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show. Great band.
The
great,
Doors.
Great musicians.
What time are Doors? The Doors are playing?
Here goes another sidetrack. Here we go. Buckle up, everybody. Sorry, continue your definition of punk.
But I think in my experience, like one thing that really got me hooked on live music was just that it's a place for anyone.
Yeah.
And a lot of singers would, between songs, would say, "Hey, like, you know, if you're having a hard time or if whatever's going on, like, this is a place for you. This is a safe space. And if you're like a bigot or anything, get out. We don't need you here."
Mm-hmm.
And that was like really cool as growing up super religious and feeling community a lot with church members, but then like when I stopped becoming religious, like not quite knowing, but anyways, always feeling like I had some sort of community
For sure.
within live music, and there's more acceptance of where you come from. So I think that idea of punk is like somewhat anti-mainstream, because it's not like, here, you need to fit in this very specific way. It's more open to just let people exist how they exist. And
Yeah, you don't need a degree. You don't need a certain background. You don't need a credit check with a high credit score. All are welcome.
yeah. And something funny that just popped in my head, my little brother's first concert was Skillet,
Oh, nice.
and he was so concerned about what he should wear to that. And in hindsight, it's just funny because, I mean, Skillet, but anyways, a lot of people at that show were wearing like, you know, those like curly, I'm not even the right,
He's making circles around his nipples right now. I don't know what's going on.
those shirts that have, it's almost like a, like the name family crest kind of shield,
Okay.
curly, like I can't even think of brands. Anyways, and the bedazzled jeans with the like white
Cute.
stitching and stuff.
I like that.
I feel like a lot of people there were wearing that.
Yeah.
But I had told him like, oh, you know, like a band shirt or a black shirt and you're fine.
Yep.
But I think he ended up wearing just like basketball shorts and
Comfy.
a t-shirt.
I like it. Get ready for the pit. Jordan, if you ever want to talk about your experience with Skillet and how we saw Newfound Glory together, hit me up. We'll do this. I want to know about Skillet so bad. All these cute dressed people. Sounds fun.
But it's funny looking back on that, like being so worried about what to wear, and then now it's like, yeah, a lot of people wear black or band merch to shows, but really like there's not rules. You could, I mean, I've seen some shows where people come in the banana costumes, you know, or like just
Classic.
goofy.
Uh-huh.
I think it was Sound and Fury. I saw a clip on Instagram. Someone was the Little Caesars dude.
That's a good. I haven't seen that. That's
He's
a good
up
one.
on the stage like
Uh-huh.
with the people that are jumping off crowd, stage diving.
Yeah. Well, I was going to tell you this after, but I feel like I should say this to you now, so you have it recorded and there's proof and evidence. So Carlton and I talked about doing a podcast forever ago, and we were going to talk about Warped Tour specifically, like, you know, talk about which bands, and then Warped Tour went away, and I moved away, right? Like, so never started the podcast, but this has been something that's been in the back of my mind for a few years now, right? And then I want to say maybe a year ago, you had a post, which you're much more on social media than I am. Like, I'm a terrible social media friend. I don't look, I don't comment, I don't, you know, nothing, right? But I see yours quite a bit. And you had a post about saying something about your definition of punk. And so that's what made me think, like, what's my definition of punk? And it's been really interesting when you ask people where they go with it. Do they talk about the genre? Do they talk about the lifestyle? You know, I never say specifically, like, I just, what's your definition of punk? And then people take it their own way, which I love. But you're the inspiration for that question.
Oh, interesting.
And you'll see that none of the questions that I ask are consistent, except what's your definition of punk? That's going to be on every episode. That's because of you, my friend.
Cool.
So what's your definition of emo?
That's an interesting
And
one.
are you emo?
Internally,
Okay.
sometimes not as much externally as I wish to be, but maybe that's just my own perception. Emo I think is funny because like I think of like 2005-ish,
Okay.
because the word existed then, but it was definitely not widely used.
Yep.
So my perception at that time of an emo person was just like they shopped at Hot Topic, wore the trip pants, the big old baggy, but that's kind of more of a goth person.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really know where the emo roots start, but I think emo is maybe more, it's along the lines of punk, but it's maybe like embracing more like sad and angry and angsty emotions, and punk still has plenty of that, but I think it just, maybe punk like does box people in a little bit where, oh, you gotta be angry, or you gotta be
Political.
political, or oh, if you don't have alternative hair, if you look like a normal person, then you're not punk, and
Yeah.
if you're not doing XYZ, you're not punk. So there can be a bit of gatekeeping, I think, there, but
For sure.
I think emo maybe opened it up to a little bit wider. I think of like Midwest emo, where the twinkly sound, whatever, however you want to call that, the math rock, and allowing for people to be more experimental. And I'm sure the internet really has has played a huge role in opening up what that means to different people. Sometimes I think about it like 10 years ago versus now, like kids just getting into things and calling stuff emo
Yeah.
means something totally different for them than what it would mean for me. And I think I used to be like afraid with growing up religious, you know, you don't want to whatever perceptions, but now I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I like band shirts and that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. Are you ever not wearing a band shirt?
I've been wearing them less. Like I used to
Sell out.
Yeah. Still like probably over 50% of the time, but like with being outside, it's like I don't want to get shirts dirty and ruined, so then I had to acquire some. I've always liked graphic tees, but anyways, I've acquired some from like whenever I put my Wicked Clothes.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen any of their stuff.
Nope.
But they're kind of in the alternative
Nice.
style anyways, so
Right on.
it fits. But
Well, then you brought up Hot Topic. Were you a Hot Topic goer back in the day?
no, although let's see, when did this happen? I feel like it was probably after, well anyways, it was near the end of college, so it was around 2016 give or take. But my mom bought me a few pairs of pants in Hot Topic, which was like a rarity,
Nice.
that she would even go in that store.
I would love to see your mom walking around Hot Topic.
But sometimes I wish, like, I know I walked by it, and I don't know if I walked in it in high school, but it used to be kind of scarier, you know? I feel like they've corporatized a little bit.
Oh,
And
for sure. They're sellouts too.
gone the minimalism, square, simple kind of styles. They're not playing metal.
Oh, what do they play? I want to know what Hot Topic's current playlist is.
Yeah, because it used to be like they just play like metal and deathcore, and they wanted to be as scary as possible.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like a little softer, but
I went in like 2 years ago, and I would say it still looked kind of similar, like, you know, band shirts and then whatever, you know, cartoon, right? Like they're always big on whatever cartoon or anime. Like for me, when I remember going, it was Invader Zim. So there's like Gurr shirts everywhere, bright green alien stuff. I loved it.
it is interesting how pop culture kind of fuses with music too. Like
Mhm.
the emo is not just exclusionary to music only, but interests
Yeah, for sure.
that are similar.
That's what I love about it, man, is it's just bring whatever, incorporate it however you want. Just be happy. Enjoy music. Enjoy whatever else is going on in your life. Let's incorporate it somehow.
Yeah.
Movie quotes, pizza. It's all part of music. And then what's the recently the most annoying song you've had stuck in your head? What song has that been? Like one where you're like, I gotta get rid of this.
My current boss likes to sing while he works.
Okay, this is good. I'm excited for this.
I can't think of what song it was exactly, but it was kind of one of those like 80s slow dance kind of.
Ooh, okay.
It wasn't. I guess it wasn't the most annoying. It's just a recent one that I
Yeah.
thought of. But he was singing it, and then it was stuck in my head the whole day. And I kept trying to like think of other songs I'd listened to recently, and it just kept playing through my head.
You don't remember right now which one it was?
I can't think.
Because I want you to sing for us. That's the ending, is you singing and dancing. That's how we end the show.
Yeah, I can't think of what song exactly.
Well, you let
it
me know when you
was.
remember, and I'll add it to
I
after.
feel like I am generally open to most songs, but there are a few that's just like no.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, any song you get stuck in your head after a while, you're like, okay, I need to get rid of this. Mine's been Pink Pony Club recently.
Oh,
Everywhere you go, man, that song's playing. But I don't know why you're rolling your eyes, dude. It's such a good song.
a lot of my coworkers in my seasonal job last year were very into Chappell Roan,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know of her before that.
Yeah.
And I don't have a
And
problem
now
with
you do.
other people liking this stuff,
Yeah.
but some of them would make me. There's like a YMCA kind of
Uh-huh.
to one of the songs,
Yeah.
and they kept telling me I needed to do that, and I just don't want to pretend like I like something, you know. So they're like wanting me to get all into it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to.
It's so funny.
No,
Don't you have
you're-
a Pink Pony Club tattoo on your arm there? Is that a pink pony I see right there?
I never said it, but in my mind, I was always like, okay, let's. If I do the YMCA thing, then how about you sing along to a Body Snatcher song? Just scare the living daylights
Yeah, make
out
a
of
deal
you.
with you guys. You should have made that deal. So her YMCA song, isn't it the Hot to Go song? Is that
Oh,
you're
that's what
talking
it is.
about?
Hot to go.
So I've still never heard her actual version of it, but when you're talking about Nothing Nowhere, have you heard his Will It Emo?
I've heard a couple. I don't know why I'm hesitant to listen to those, but
So-
I have not really listened to them
Yeah,
yet.
he has Hot to Go, which starts out good. I'm like, okay, like whatever, it sounds like it's the song. And then it gets better. You should listen to it. And then he did All Star, which is so funny because he put some movie snippets from Shrek, which of course, if you think All Star, you think of Shrek. So there's like donkey talking in the background. So good. You have to check those out. I'll give Nothing Nowhere a shout out. Hopefully he'll send me a free $15 shirt for the little shout out. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, man, before we end this? Shout out mom and dad. Shout out Jordan.
Not necessarily. I mean, maybe just to like tie in or conclusion, I feel like the pandemic gave me a real identity crisis with live music going away, and I realized like how much of myself I'd really sunken into the way I view myself through live music.
Okay.
And I still think it's definitely important in my life, but I kind of realized like I need personality, not just in music,
Mm-hmm.
not only. Anyways, putting all your eggs in one basket kind of thing, but just realizing like concerts can be escapism, but when it's like you rely on it and then it's not there, it just was like a bit of a wake up call for me. So I still like definitely love live music, but realizing like I need to find better ways to cope and deal with mental health than just waiting for the next show.
Yeah. I mean, that got deep, but I mean, I appreciate the vulnerability because it sounds kind of like an addiction, right? Like where you're not dealing with other stuff, you're just looking forward to the next concert. And so
Yeah.
that's what's keeping you going, which I mean, for me, like I'm the same way, dude. Like when's the next show? Like who's going? But yeah, you got to find that healthy balance with that or anything in life, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
I still love heavy music, but I think for a while too, I was like getting into the heaviest music I could because that was the only way I knew how to like deal with anger at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely think live music is a good way to process anger, where like culturally with religion, it's almost like taboo to even be angry at all. But just knowing that I gotta have more parts to myself, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you brought it up, so do you want to tell us about the things that you found that have helped you?
I guess I'm still in the process of learning better things, but just realizing that like I like alone time, I like my solitude, and I have to like respect my personal boundaries to know like what works for me. And
For sure.
it's funny, I used to like when I'd buy a ticket, like I would never miss a show ever.
Yeah.
But some days if I'm just like not feeling great, not having a great day, there's been some shows where I have a ticket and I just don't go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sometimes I laugh a little because past me, I would have been a crime against humanity.
You would have beat yourself up for sure.
But now it's just like, I don't know, if I'm not in a great mood that day, then don't want to go stand in a crowd of people. But just knowing that like, okay, it's knowing myself better now, like, okay, today's not, I know I'm going to be annoyed that I miss it, but
Yeah.
it's better to like address my needs than getting sucked in with FOMO.
For sure. I mean, I've known you for what, 10 years, a little over 10 years now, and I've seen, you know, the lifestyle changes that you've gone through. I've seen, you know, you graduate school and trying to figure out how to start corporate America, and then trying to figure out how you become happy within all of that. And you know, life's stressful, and people make it seem like it's so easy, like you just follow the steps, or you know, check the boxes and then things are going to work out. And for me and all my friends, it doesn't work out that way. You know, I don't know what we're doing wrong, but I guess that's really not how life is, right? That's my point, is what I'm saying. But you seem more comfortable, confident, you seem happier, and I'm happy for you, man. I love you, man. You're a good guy.
Thanks.
Thanks for doing this with me.
Love you too.
Anything else you want to add, Dan? I don't want to cut you off.
Random fact: I've heard that a lot of people don't. They stop finding new bands once they're like mid-20s or 30.
Oh yeah, we didn't hear that. We never checked that box.
So always look at new bands, even if they're younger than you.
Sure.
It can be weird realizing they're younger than you, but who cares?
It is weird that they're singing about stuff that like we relate to, and you're like, oh, you're 10 years younger than me, but all right, I like it.
It's just cool how many bands there are that exist, how many musicians. Just the internet just opens up.
The current
So
one
many.
I did that with was New Aesthetic. Have you listened to them?
Sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't.
They're like a newer punk band, but yeah, I doubt any of them are even 20 yet, but they're good, man. They get it and they get down. I love it. So yeah, you gotta check them out. Do you have a new one that you're referring to that younger than you that?
A band Anxious we've discussed a little bit. They're
Yeah.
pretty young, and I'm definitely very into them. But yeah, they're just weird realizing they're 10 plus years younger than me.
For sure.
But
And they get
good tunes
down,
are
man.
good tunes.
And it's funny when they come on stage because they go, "We are anxious." Aren't we all, brother?
Amen.
All right, man. Thanks for doing this with me. Have a good day, dude.
All right, talk to you later.
To be a full-blown nomad, I have to try.